I remember maybe my third day there, sitting down there at the lunch table, and here comes Tony Gonzalez, sits beside me and has a conversation. And I'm talking with Tony Gonzalez, who at the time was the guy. He was the tight end.
For sure. On every commercials, he was everywhere.
Yeah. Great conversation. And it was one of those things where I'm like, this guy's almost a Hall of Famer. And he's actually sitting down to talk with me. And I was so astonished by it. I was like, wow, this is great. The mistake I made is that I thought it was too great. I'm sharing a huddle with, Brian Waters, another Hall of Famer, Larry Johnson. And I kind of looked around like, oh, wow, this is so cool.
You guys got starstruck a little bit.
And that was a mistake I made.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the 9th episode of the book, The Real Story, where we welcome real and authentic guests coming in and sharing their story. This week we have a cool guest coming in, another Montreal legend. Really excited to have Jabari Arthur on the show, current receiver coach and an offensive assistant at the University of Calgary, long-time Calgary Stampeders legend, Akron Hall of Fame player, and a Vanier College legend as well in Montreal. So welcome to the show, Jabari.
Thank you for having me, man. I mean, thanks. Once again, awesome platform.
I appreciate that. No, thank you for taking the time. I know we have a little bit of time right now at the university. Obviously, a lot of workouts right now, but things are a bit slowed down a little bit. Kind of getting ready for the storm in training camp in the season there. So I appreciate that you took the time to come here, and especially on the Sunday afternoon. I know you have a family as well, so thank you for being here.
Once again, anytime I get a chance to work with someone like yourself, I consider you family anyways. So
I appreciate that.
We're hanging out with family on a Sunday.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Likewise. There's always kind of heard about your story through people talking, and obviously us being from Montreal, I always heard the name. Well, having an opportunity to work with you and having just the time to spend with you and talking to you a little bit, you don't talk much about your past and your football accolades, and you obviously talk about what you're doing right now in coaching, but you don't really talk much about it. And I would like to talk a little bit about the young Jabari, young Jabari in Montreal. I know your family is from the islands. Were you born in Montreal?
Yep, born and raised in Montreal. Grew up on the West Island. Yeah. So I guess you could say the English-speaking side of Montreal. It's kind of funny. I don't talk about my past a lot because it always seems like I'm bragging. I've had a very, very fortunate career, so to speak, through football, and it's given so much to me. So I don't really necessarily talk about a lot of the stuff that I've done in the past, but on the same breath, I'm very proud of the stuff that I've accomplished.
As you should, and I understand, because not some guys are just quick to say everything that they've done, right? And I know that you're a person that you are deeper than the game. There's a lot to you that are deeper than the game. And sometimes when you talk about past, and there's some people that's all they do. It's like they live in the 1990s where it's over. They still talk about it. But I used to be like that a little bit more. I was like, I don't want to talk about it. But these are I remember someone telling me that these are still things that you did. This is still part of your life, right? And obviously you don't want to talk about it too much, but those are stories that I'm sure a lot of people can connect with. And I'm excited to talk a little bit about that today.
Well, which is very true. Once again, I'm a football guy through and through. How I started to play football is a little bit of a funny story because it was by accident. So I'm going to date myself. This is going all the way back to the 80s. When you're a kid, your parents put you into different sports and stuff and that. My parents decided to put me into swimming. Yeah, it's a life skill.
Okay, just to learn to swim though, wasn't like you weren't. Was it to do it competitively or just to learn to swim?
No, just hey, go learn how to swim.
Oh, okay. I thought. Okay, it makes more sense. Okay.
So went to learn how to swim, and probably maybe 4 weeks into the program, into the class. Okay. Man, I caught the chicken pox.
No way.
Yeah, from somebody in the class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was really, really funny. I caught the chicken pox, and I don't know if you've had it before, but it's terrible. You know, it's 3 weeks of having like a full body
I've had the
rash,
chickenpox, for sure.
and you have to stay inside, so you're isolated, and
sure.
it was middle of the springtime. So I spent like a month, 5 weeks, whatever it
How
was.
old were you at the time?
6.
6, okay, yeah.
So imagine a 6-year-old stuck inside his room, looking outside at all his friends play. And I was like, man, this is horrible. What a sentence this is. So the next year, you know, my parents again say, look, we want to put you in some sport, but I know you can only get chickenpox once. But being 6, I was like, oh man, I'm not going back to swimming. It's gonna happen to me
Every
again.
time, yeah.
Exactly. So I said anything but that. You know, my dad was a huge football fan, so he's like, you want to try football? I was like, okay.
How did he become a football fan from, because coming from Jamaica, right?
You know, Trinidad. Yeah.
Trinidad. Was there football there? How did he become a fan?
Not at all. So he came over like in the 70s, and there was no, you know, there's no satellite television or anything like that. So I think when he came over, my father was a huge soccer and cricket fan. But, you know, I think just hanging out with some of his friends and, you know, once again, kind of assimilating to being in Montreal, he started watching football, and he became a huge Montreal Alouette.
Yeah.
And back then, I think it was the Oakland Raiders back then.
Okay.
Yeah, and
because back then there was only a few games you could watch
on TV.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I know he was a huge Raiders fan. That was his team. And he always talked about how rough and tumble they were. And I guess he kind of fell in love with the game that way, just watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And once again, he was like, do you want to try it? And I was like, okay, I'll try football. You know, my mom was against it. You know, all moms.
Too violent.
Very much against it.
Yeah.
But I was like, Mom, I want to try it.
Okay.
So they put me in football. You know how it goes. You know, I was 7 at the time. Everybody plays every position. So I started off playing O-line and outside linebacker. And man, from day one, practice one, fell in love with the game. Just absolutely fell in love with it.
What was it about the game that you liked so much at the time?
I think it was just running around, being a part of a team.
Yeah.
You know, once again, you know, 6 and 7 years old, when kids get together, everyone becomes friends instantly.
Yeah.
And I made friends right away, day one. You know what I mean? Friends with Joey, Sean, Eric, all these guys that my first year playing. It was probably their second year playing, but my first, fell in love with the game. And we were really good that year. Really, really good. My first year playing football, we went undefeated.
No way. That's cool.
Undefeated. And my dad, once again, I love my dad. He's the guy that turned 21, never got a day older. He was like always fun.
Vibrant.
Yeah. After every game, he's like, man, if you guys win, I'm going to buy the pizza and the Pepsi. And man, you know, that's enough to motivate any young kid. So we just kept putting it together. And yeah, man, we went undefeated. We lost in the championship, unfortunately. But just the experience of being outside, playing, running around, and not getting chickenpox. You know what I mean? Yeah, fell in love with the game.
That's awesome.
I've been a huge advocate ever since.
For sure. So what did you, after that, you know, sometimes when people start playing a sport, they start looking at the pro guys that are playing and, I want to be this one day. Did you have these aspirations right at that age, or they just kind of start to become more and more important as you start to play the game longer?
Well, it's kind of funny. I didn't know I was good yet. You know, my second year of football, they changed the zoning of what teams you could play for in the area. So my first year I played for the Amma Bay Falcons. My second year I was kind of forced to play for the Sunnybrook Chiefs. And, you know, I was like, man, I just had a great time with Amma Bay. They're forcing me here. I wasn't necessarily very happy to have to change teams. But once again, when you get there, another group of friends, you know, my cousin was on the team, so it was just another great experience. I didn't know how good I was. I was just running around having fun with my boys. That's what it was. But once again, then they changed me from like kind of O-line, outside linebacker, and they're like, you know what, this kid's he's kind of fast. You ever played running back? No. You want to play it? Sure. You know what I mean? And then that's how it kind of started. I started playing running back, and man, started scoring some more touchdowns, and then I was like, oh man, this is fun scoring touchdowns.
Yeah, for sure.
So once again, continued playing, and then as I got older, you know, started to score a little bit more, and then that's when I started to get a little bit more attention from my brother's friends who were like, man, Kareem's little brother's pretty good. And then they started coming to watch my games. And then I was like, man, if my brother's friends are coming to watch my games, I better put on a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
And that's kind of how I got it started. I was more or less of me trying to be cool for my brother's friends than it was me trying to ever think about playing professionally.
For sure.
But then, once again, as you get older, then you're like, man, I may have a chance at this. And then, you remember the name Barry Sanders?
Yes.
So back in the day, name is Jabari. People call me Barry for short. And then Barry Sanders was making everybody miss. And I was like, man, you know what? I want to be like Barry Sanders. So that's kind of how I was like, okay, that was the first guy I kind of wanted to emulate growing up.
Until you became 6'4" and you realized.
But dude, you know what's funny? I was always short my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. My grandmother used to call me Ground Thunder.
When did you hit your growth spurt?
Man, I would say about 14.
Okay, that's not.
I was really, really small. And the funny thing is I caught the flu or something. I got sick. I was bedridden for like maybe 5-6 days. And then when I started to come out and I came upstairs, my mom was washing the dishes. She turned around and she was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, what, Ma? And then like I went to my arms were longer. I literally grew in like a week, probably like 1.5 inches, 2 inches.
There's some kids, sometimes you see them, you leave, you obviously at your school in June, they leave, they come back in September, they're like 6 inches taller.
Yeah.
Just over 10, 12 weeks, they just grow like that, right? So you're probably one of those guys.
It was literally that scenario where I was like, wasn't very, very tall, got sick, came out of bed, and I was literally 2 inches taller. And it happened twice throughout my lifetime. So once when I was 14, another time I was about 16, 17. Got sick and then just grew.
So, once you started becoming tall and taller, you played running back at the time. When did you start making that? Because I know you played receiver in your career. When did you make that switch to receiver?
So after playing running back when I was younger, sometimes as I started to get good, my coaches were like, we're just going to put, our fastest kid or whatever at quarterback. Yeah. So I actually put me to quarterback.
Okay.
And
because didn't you play quarterback at Vanier?
Oh, yeah. I was a QB. So I would say back when I was maybe 12, 13-ish, they moved me to quarterback. And it's funny, I was a huge Barry Sanders fan. But then since I played quarterback, I was like, man, I want to be a quarterback now. I started to look at some of the guys playing professionally who kind of look like me. Yeah. And Randall Cunningham, there's only 2 quarterbacks back in the NFL who looked like I looked. And it was Randall Cunningham and Warren Moon. Yeah. And I like Randall Cunningham, man. He used to get hit, put his hand on the ground, scramble around, make all these spectacular throws. And I was like, you know what? I like that guy. And right away, I became a Philadelphia Eagles fan, and I am to this day.
Yeah, I know that for sure.
Shout out to the defending champions.
Yes, sir.
But became a Ronald Cunningham fan. And to be very honest, he's the reason why I wore number 12. I wore number 12 my whole career, until I got playing professionally. Yeah. But I played quarterback since I was probably 12, 13 years old, all the way up until I got to university.
So now so what kind of quarterback were you? Could you throw the ball, or you're one of those guys that every receiver's worst nightmare? Like, this guy's never gonna throw me the ball. This guy just get the ball and just go rush for 400 today.
I would like to say I was a dual threat.
Okay.
I was a dual threat. No, I really once again, being athletic, I was always in my back pocket. If I needed to, I'll take off at any time. Sure. But you know what? I love throwing the football. I love seeing a spiral, and I love throwing the ball and seeing guys catch it. And I would like to say I was a distributor. I like that. Anytime, if you need to get a first down, okay, I'll get it. But if you want the play to work, don't worry about it. I got that part of my game too. So I love to throw the football. I love to see a spiral. Once again, came up through the North Shore system, got to Vanier. And, once again, this is why I always sounds like I was bragging, but as soon as I got to Vanier, I broke the record there for completion percentage.
Wow.
Yep, second year. Second year there, broke the completion percentage, because I just love to throw it. I love to see a spiral. I love to see guys catch the ball. So, yeah, man, love to see it. So, yes, you're right. I could run, I could do all that stuff, but I love to throw it, though, man.
So why did you switch position? Is that something that obviously you were good at man, you obviously broke the completion percentage second year. After that, you ended up going to Akron. Why did you make that switch? Was that something that they asked you to do?
So It was one of those things where it's I kind of had to.
Yeah, okay.
So great career at Vanier.
Yeah.
Man, some of my most memorable days have been playing at VC Ballers.
Yes, sir.
And I was very, very fortunate enough. I did earn a scholarship to go down to the University of Akron. Went down as a quarterback. As a matter of fact, once again, not bragging, but Ron Dias, who was like the football guru of Canada back then, he rated me the #1 player in Canada.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because he used to do those combines and a little bit like Canada Football Chat's doing now. He actually did that a little bit similar, but in Quebec, like probably a little bit smaller.
No, Quebec, he did it all over the
all
over Canada.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
okay.
so he had a camp, the Ron Dias camp. It was super famous. He had one in every major city.
Okay.
And it was pretty cool. The 2 quarterbacks that he put kind of like the top of the list was myself and Mike Folds. So, like, give a shout out to Mike Folds all the time. He's the head coach for Laurier right now.
Okay.
So, you know what I mean? Our story is kind of intertwined from way back then. But really good career. Awesome career. Played for Team Canada, did all that stuff. Got an opportunity to go to University of Akron. Went down there as a quarterback. Didn't play my freshman year, redshirt freshman year. My story in Akron was a little bit tough just because when I did go down my first year, I left in January of 2003. My father passed away in March of 2003. So it was a little bit of a rough transition going to Akron.
If you don't mind me asking, how did he pass away?
Like I said, my dad, turned 21, never got a day older. And he did smoke cigarettes.
Okay.
And unfortunately, that was, we'll say that's what took him. You know what I mean? He had the C word, and it was in his lungs and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny or not funny, leaving my family. It was like an all-Canadian family. Mom, dad, 2 brothers, 3 boys too, rough and tumble. Left to go to Akron, and the next time I was back in Montreal was to go to a funeral.
Oh, wow.
So my first year at Akron was a little bit tough.
For sure.
It's one of those things where when things happen, you always remember the last thing. And I'll never forget being at Montreal airport and my dad saying, "Hey, man, keep your head on your shoulders." And that's just my dad. My dad was full of quotes. He had a quote for everything, like most parents do. And I remember that specifically because that was the last time I actually seen my dad alive. Just not to go too far off story here. It's kind of funny. Growing up, my dad used to call me Bretts. I don't know. That's just what my dad's name. All right. And his big line was, "All right, man. Anytime you leave the house, be like, hey, man, I'm going down the road, Bretts." All right, Dad.
Bretts.
I don't even know where it came from. It's just that was my nickname growing up, Bretts. I don't know why.
Okay.
And that was just his line leaving the house. I'm going down the road. And it's funny because I had a dream when in my dorm. Just had a dream, and it was my dad. He came to my dorm, and he was like, "Hey, man, I'm going down the road, Bretts." And I was like, "Okay." Never thought anything of it. The crazy thing is that night, my brother called me in tears. What's going on, dude? And he's like, "Dad passed away." So I think that dream was my dad coming to say, "Hey, man, I'm leaving. I'm going down the road." And once again, I don't, certain things happen to people throughout their lifetime, and sometimes, you don't always believe everything that happens. But in that moment, I was like, "Holy crow!" My dad came to say bye. Wow. And once again, tough transition. Went back home. Everything that I left was completely different at that point.
For sure. How were you able to? Because you're still really young at the time, and sometimes when things like that happens, people sometimes don't have the ability and the skills to manage those things and being away from home and continue to do the things that they're supposed to do. How are you able to manage that?
I had a great support cast. I think my family, once again, we were a very close-knit family. And when I came back to Montreal to go to, my father's funeral, I vowed that I was never going back to Akron. Yep. I said that this is the reason I was away, because when he was sick, to protect me from where I was at and, once again, trying to make my way in a completely different country, my family didn't really tell me what was going on. So I really didn't have an idea what was going on. So when I got the phone call, I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean he passed away?" So
they wouldn't tell you?
Nope. Didn't tell me. So it was like they didn't want for me to be thinking about everything that was going on. They did it to protect me. And I understand it. You know, they're always going to try to, you're always going to try to protect your family. But I was angry that I didn't, you know, they were all there when he passed away. They were all there to hear his last words, and I wasn't. And I kind of blamed my situation as in school and stuff like that for why I wasn't there. And I said, I'm never going back. It's my mom and my grandmother, my dad's mom. They were like, no, you're going back. Your dad was so proud of you for what you've done and where you went. You have to go back. And I'm like, I'm not going back.
Why didn't you want to go back? Did you feel like, is it out of fear, out of anger? What was it?
It was anger. I blamed, you know, being away at football. I blamed being, you know, in my dorms or, you know, chasing my dreams, so to speak, that I wasn't there. And I was angry at it. And I said, I'm not going back. And it was funny, my grandmother and my mom packed my bags.
You're like, you go back.
Exactly. You're going back. I said, I refused. And I was like, I'm not, why you guys packing my bags? I'm not going back. And my grandmother was literally like, look, your dad was so proud. You have to go back, if not for yourself, but for him. And I was like, I don't want to go back. And they forced me. Literally, my mom was like, look, I'm changing the keys to the house. You got to go. So they literally kicked me out, took me back to the airport, and went back. And you know, I'm a calm guy, man. I'm not a violent guy. My first month back, I got in maybe 3 fights with guys. I was just an angry person.
Of course.
And once again,
did the teammates at the time know everything that was going on in your life?
They did. They did. Some of them really rallied with me. And once again, sometimes when, you know, something like that happens in life, that's how you kind of really make bonds with some of the closest people in your life. For sure. You know, the guy that really helped me a lot was our starting quarterback at the time, because I played quarterback back then, Charlie Fry. Man, sometimes I wouldn't even leave my dorm room. And he would actually come and find me in my dorm and like, hey, look, I'm going home this weekend. Come with me.
Oh, wow.
So that was actually a really, really big help. I had another friend named Marcus Patterson. He was a guy from New York. And me and him connected because, you know, being from Montreal, when you go someplace, you want to dress up, look nice, you know what I mean? And a lot of everybody else, everyone's athletes there, so they just put on their sweats or they put on their team gear to go to school.
Ball cap and then go.
Yeah, that wasn't me, man. I was like, man, I'm going to, you know what I mean, put on my...
Show up to show out.
Oh, yeah. Put on my tall tee, different colored do-rags, hat to the side. I did all that stuff. And I connected with Marcus because he was from New York.
Same thing.
And he did the same thing. So while everybody was just in sweats and stuff like that, we were like shoes clean, you know what I mean? Nice pair of jeans, you know, like I said, do-rag matching, the wristband. We did all that stuff from back in, you know, that time.
Yeah, for sure.
And me and him kind of connected and he did the same. He was like, look, dude, we can't just let you sit here. So he used to come and once again, collect me, as we'll say. And man, just kind of always brought me along and kind of pulled me out of the dark place I was in.
Do you feel like, as a team, how long were you gone for? Like you said, talk about you were gone for a little bit of time and then you came back. How long were you gone for to go see your family? Did you just go there for a few days and then?
No, so I was gone for about 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it was when my dad passed away, it was just before spring break. So I was gone for a week and a half just to be back with my family, then spring break. And then that's when my mom and everybody sent me back. So finished the semester, came back again for the summer, or I should say just at the end of the semester before the summer, and then I went back for that summer.
What kind of support did you get from the staff there? You know, you talk about a lot from the players and the guys you were close with, and obviously build some relationship. How was the staff in regards to that?
I think the staff did a really good job in terms of, you know, they were a no-nonsense group, but they gave me my space to allow me to, you know, sometimes when I went to work out and stuff like that, once again, you know, I wasn't necessarily focused or I wasn't giving my 100% yet. And they gave me some space give me some time to heal. So they allowed me to at least have that happen. So once again, they were great in that regard, but I really think I rallied around some of my teammates. Those are the guys who, like I said, the coaches didn't come get me at my dorm.
Yeah, for sure.
The players did. So I think those guys they really helped me in a time of, call it a time of need. They were exactly what I needed.
And what you said, for a little bit of time there, it's a little bit rough for you. What was your breakthrough? How much time did it take you to kind of get, because there's never a good time to have those phone calls. Right? There's no, like we say, oh, you're younger, it's harder. There's never a good time. You never want to have those phone calls. But at the time, you're new to somewhere, new place. Some people, it takes them a while to get through stuff like this, right? And now you have to go. And keep in mind, you're not just going to school as a normal student. You're playing football. There's a lot of stuff that you got to do that sometimes you just don't want to do. And you're dealing with all the other stuff. That transition, how much time did it take you for you to be able to, like, to actually accept the situation and just move forward and start going back to balling?
I think what it took was for me to get back in like a football uniform. So once again, that happened with my dad. Come back, we had to go to spring ball. That was really rough because, coming from Montreal, we have a little accent. I played quarterback. And I was doing really well, with the freshman group, so well that they actually put me up with the veteran group. And it was funny, I remember a specific situation where I got into the veteran group and Charlie Fry was the guy at Akron. I mean, I think he has 50 school records.
Oh, wow.
He was incredible. As a matter of fact, he had his own day.
No way.
Yeah, it was called Charlie Friday.
Wow.
So his own day. So he was the guy. And I think some of the linemen in the group there, they were so used to having him and hearing his voice in the huddle. When I came into the huddle, they're like, who's this young guy
exactly.
with an accent?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I remember our center was like, I don't want to listen to him. I don't like his accent. Literally said he didn't like my accent. And that was a little bit rough for me because I was like, I'm just trying to come here, try to help the team, and here you are trying to cut my legs out. And once again, I was a bit fiery back then, and I actually got in the face of him, and we were about to scrap because he tried to embarrass me one time, and man, I wasn't having it.
For sure.
But you know what? That summer, trained, started to get back in it, but it's when we had a chance to get the football season going again. And it was almost like a reminder of why I was here. And not all the freshmen had a chance to travel that year. I did. And it was cool because our first home game, both my brothers, some of my friends from back home, they all came down to watch. And it was that moment where I was like, man, like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my family, my friends, everybody, they're so happy to see me kind of here and going in the direction I was going in. I think that was the reminder for me. And that's when I really, really started to be like, okay, you know what? Let me get back on track and do some of the things that gave me success in the past. You know what I mean? So once again, this really good support cast, rallied with some of the new teammates that I had and some of my friends who came to visit me during the first game of the year, which was awesome. Once again, I'll never forget these moments. The first time I ever owned a pair of Jordans, they all pitched in, people from back home, and they brought me a pair of Jordans on my birthday, and it was awesome.
That's awesome. Good to know that you had that kind of support system, the guys that obviously not only from your home, but on the team. Obviously, sometimes guys, it's football. There's a lot of guys on the team. Guys, you always kind of bump heads, but good to know you had that support. Now that, because from what I'm hearing from your story, is your dad is a big influence in you playing the game of football. Sometimes when things like that happens, mindset can kind of shift into the reason why you played the game. Did that happen to you?
Kind of. Growing up, my dad used to come to all my games. It'd be minus 30 outside, driving all the way out to St. Eustache.
That's a good dad. Oh, he loved you.
Oh yeah, man. It's some of the stuff he used to do. Put garbage bag in his shoes, 3 and 4 gloves. You know how it is, man.
Yeah, sure.
Minus 30, he was there. So sometimes I would do things just to be like, all right, man. On the way back in the car ride, I'm gonna do something so my dad and I have something to talk about. And it would literally be what you said, I wasn't that quarterback, but every now and then I would drop back and be like, I'm not throwing this ball. I want to run and have something so my dad could talk about. So a lot of stuff I did was just to have a conversation with my pops. And when he passed, I kind of shifted my mindset to, I want to do it and to honor him. So it's pretty cool. what I did is I got a wristband and I took a Sharpie and wrote the name, or wrote Dad on my wristband. And it's whenever there was a tough situation or whenever I was like, man, I don't know if I could do this, I would actually look down at my wristband that said Dad. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna still give him something to talk about. So I'm even getting emotional thinking about some of that stuff, but my mind kind of shifted towards, you know what, let me still have that ongoing conversation with my dad. He's not here to watch, but I know he's watching. So I kind of wanted just to continue to excel so I could honor my dad and still have him being proud, even though he wasn't necessarily there. I still wanted him to be proud of some of the stuff that I was doing.
And you did, when you look at the rest of the career at Akron, every year just got better and better and better,
Yeah.
And there's a switch there. I think you switched position there.
Yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about that transition and how are you able to have such high success? It's not like you played receiver your entire life and you get to Division I football and then you just keep doing what you're doing. You had to switch position at that time and then still excelling, having 1,000-yard season at the end of your career.
Yep.
How was that transition for you?
So at the end of my freshman year, Akron was very funny. We were very successful on offense. I think we had a top 5 offense in the country. Like I said, Charlie Fry was an unbelievable quarterback. But we still didn't necessarily finish in the playoff criteria for us to go on in the MAC. So at the end of my freshman year, unfortunately, our coaching staff was fired. Cleaned house. A new coach came in, J.D. Brookhart. He's kind of known for being the receiver coach at the University of Pitt.
Okay.
And I do believe he's the only receiver coach to coach 2 Biletnikoff receivers. So once again, came in with some cachet. When he came in, he completely changed the offense, and he brought a quarterback with him from Pitt. So after my freshman year, redshirt sophomore year, we had a quarterback battle.
Why do you say quarterback? I know what you mean.
Yeah, because in my heart of all hearts, I felt that I won. I really did. I felt that I was a little bit more athletic. I thought I brought a little bit more dynamic stuff to the offense. Unfortunately, it's kind of tough bringing somebody from the school, and so they let him, be the starting quarterback. And they had that conversation with me. They're like, "Look, you're super athletic. You can continue to be the number 2 quarterback, or you could possibly fill a need at receiver." I was like, "What do you mean?" I didn't even understand. I was like, "What do you mean, play a different position?" Like, Luke is going to be the quarterback. We want you to play a different position. I immediately, this is before any transfer portal or anything like that, I immediately called my coaches from back home. "Get me out of here. This is absolutely ridiculous." You know what I mean? And they started calling around some of the other schools that I had attention from coming up. When I told this to some of my teammates, they were like, "Look, man, we don't want you to leave." Once again, Marcus Patterson being one of the guys, Dominic Hickson, Jay Mont, all these guys here were like, "Look, we want you to play receiver. Just come hang out with us. We'll take care of you." I was a little bit angry though. So anyways, long story short, I moved to receiver. And I kind of played with this chip on my shoulder because I was like, "Oh, so you don't think I'm good enough to play there? I'm going to show you how good I am." And I played angry probably the rest of my career because I had a point to prove every play, every practice period, every workout. I was like, man, I have something to prove. I feel like I should have been that guy. I'm going to show you that I could be that guy at a different position. So once again, made a move to receiver.
Do you feel like that was your defining moment in your career for you?
At the time, I didn't know. At the time, I didn't know because I wanted to play quarterback. But making that move to receiver and having, like you mentioned before, that mentality shift, I think that was what really kind of sparked my trajectory to the success that I had. I wanted to continue to prove to my dad and honor him as well, but then I also wanted to prove that, wait a second, I'm going to show everybody just what I got. And once again, playing receiver, being out on the island, a lot of one-on-one, that's where I really started to kind of flourish and getting that, okay, it's me versus you. You know what I mean?
I feel like when you play, obviously the quarterback position, you always get the ball in your hands and there's a lot There's a lot to think about. You're competing, but there's something about, I had the chance to play receiver NDB, right? So there's just something about this one-on-one setup every play that just imposing will on someone, knowing that I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to watch me do it, right? Did that allow you to, did that bring your competitiveness to another level?
I had no choice. So my first year playing receiver, second game actually in my career, we played Middle Tennessee. And here I am playing receiver. And I was going up against this DB. He wore number 2.
Still remember.
Oh yeah, I remember. Didn't leave me alone. From the first play of the game to the last play, in my ear. Some of the things I can't repeat. I can't repeat them. And I remember in the third quarter being like, dude, man, leave me alone, man.
Yeah.
Like, just leave me alone. He's like, nah, man, you're gonna have to see me every play. And I was like, you know what, okay. This is how it's gonna be. It's either sink or swim at this moment.
Yeah.
So right when he was like, you're gonna have to see me every play, I was like, no. You're gonna have to see me every play. And it's right in that moment where I was like, okay, if I have to be able to give back some of what he's putting on me. So that's when I really began to be like, okay, man, all right, now. You take your shots, you're gonna talk your trash. Okay, I'm gonna have to do the same. Just a quick sidebar. So we could fast forward maybe 6 or 7 years later, sitting down in the Calgary Stampeders locker room, telling this exact story. Man, number 2 at Middle Tennessee State, he was killing me, this and that. And there's a guy listening to me, he's like, what years did you play? I'm like, yeah, man, I played from, this is back in 2003. He was like, man, I played there. Were you number 12? I was like, yeah, that was me. It was Keon Raymond.
No.
Keon Raymond. Yeah. Keon Raymond was the guy who trash talked me, and he actually was who kind of flipped the switch in me, where I was like, man, didn't leave me alone for a full every play. And that's when I was like, okay, you know what? It's on, and I'm gonna make everybody pay from that moment on.
Fast forward, and you guys on the same team.
It's the same team, literally lockers apart.
No way, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, one of my favorite people of all time.
No, great dude.
Great dude. He's actually the one who kind of got me started on, okay, the art of trash talk, the art of one-on-one, the art of all that stuff. It's kind of like he's the one who kind of lit the fire, so to speak. And after that game, I was like, okay, it's on. And once again, all that being tied together with where I wanted to work, my mentality was at the time, that really kind of set me off to, once again, to kind of on the path of success, so to speak.
For sure. Hall of Fame player at Akron. Canadian player to go to a division school, becoming an Hall of Fame player at that school. That's an amazing accomplishment, especially at a time where Canadians going to D1 schools wasn't as common as it is now. There's a lot of guys now going, at the time, it was harder. I wouldn't say that it's easier now. It's harder to get your name out there back then, right? Because there wasn't the social media, all these different things. You had to make a lot of, the process of being there was a bit difficult. Now you're there, becoming an Hall of Fame player. That was an amazing accomplishment there. Talk to me about that last season, because what it appears to be your breakout season at Akron.
So my breakout season, actually, or I should say my breakout game, was my sophomore year.
Your sophomore year, okay.
Yeah, we had a really good year. We finished first on top of the MAC. Actually won the MAC conference that year. Had a chance to go to a bowl game, the Motor City Bowl, and we're playing against Memphis. And it's kind of funny, you kind of, talk about the game and stuff like that. And in the pre-game, you put all the records of the players who've played in that game and some of their records. And it's funny, it just happened to, I don't know what made me do it, but I happened to look up, and the record was the most receiving yards in a game. And it was by Randy Moss. And I was like, man, wouldn't it be spectacular if I beat that tonight? And lo and behold, I guess if you put it out in the universe and you speak it, it came back. That was my breakout game. I actually broke the record for most yards in the Motor City Bowl. I think the record before was 177. I had 181 that game 2 touchdowns. It was unbelievable. The quarterback kept going to me and kept catching it.
That was the day.
Yeah, and had some really, really spectacular game. And I think that game is what kind of put me on the map. And then right from there, that's when I really started to believe that, hey, man, we're on the biggest scale that we could be on. And I'm performing. So I think that's when I was like, okay, let me see if I could take this and how far I could go with it. So that was kind of like my breakout game. Really, really good, to say junior year. But yeah, my senior year was, that's when I really, really was focused. You know how it is your senior year.
Yeah. You're gonna get paid.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it's kind of funny. I actually had a major injury that February. I broke my foot during morning conditioning. I actually broke my foot, and we were just doing the star drill, and I just stepped and heard something. It's like, this feels funny, and kind of went off to the side and walked there like it wasn't even painful. I was like, something's wrong with my foot. They did a little test, and I had a Jones fracture in my foot. Oh, man. So in the U.S., that's surgery immediately. So imagine this: I'm going into my senior year, and yeah, I'm having Jones fracture surgery, and it was a little bit scary. But they said it was something that could be, 4 to 6 weeks, you'll be back, and because it was my senior year, I was so focused. I was like, I don't care what obstacle they put in my way. I'm gonna be so zeroed in that it could have been anything. My diet was great. I trained every single day, and I was so focused on the get back that I think maybe that was I needed to happen to me. That because of that, my senior year was spectacular. I made everything so hard that the games were easy. That was my mentality.
So it's a great mentality to have. There's sometimes, from what I hear, it sounds like a sense of urgency. What if every year of your life was like this? You know what I mean? Like, what if you? I'm sure that you've always, for you to go and have success like that at that level, you seem to be a regimented guy, a guy that took care of his body, that trained, that did the little things to be able to separate yourself. But that senior year, that's when you're like, you know what, nothing can stop me. I wonder, and obviously now as a coach, you see guys, right? You see guys there for 4 or 5 years, and then you see that switch, and then you're like, man, what would have happened if you did this every year of your college career, right? Do you reflect on that sometimes?
Sometimes I do. I'm like, I think, it's an age-old question. Who's more dangerous? Somebody who has everything to lose or somebody who has nothing to lose?
That's right. And
they're both equally as dangerous. And I felt that if you feel like you have everything to lose, you know what I mean? It switches a gear. It's hard to kind of get that mentality until you're actually faced with it.
Yes, right.
So I feel like I wish, I had that sense of urgency my whole career, because who knows what it could have turned into.
Yeah.
But once again, I think everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
I think I was already, very, very focused on whatnot and where I was trying to go, one-track mind. But I think there was that small injury that really, really forced me to be like, okay, now I have to go beyond what I was already prepared to do.
For sure.
For me to get where I wanted to get to.
100%. And it worked for you, 1,100 yards that year.
Yeah.
I think 12, 14 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That was incredible, right? What was the next step for you now? You're the man on campus, went crazy this season. Obviously, the draft is coming up, all these different things. What do you, because I can remember you always have this thought of, okay, I look at the pro, I would love to do that. But it's there, right? You always believe you can do that. But once you're faced with that reality that, okay, this is you start talking to some teams, right? It becomes real, right? What was that process for you getting ready for the pros?
The cool thing about it is even though Akron was a mid-major program, we had some guys who's gone on to play professionally. So a lot of our guys would actually come back during the summer, it goes, and I would work out with some of those guys. The Matt Cherries, the Jake Shaffinos, once again, Charlie Fry. A lot of these guys have gone on and are professionals, and they came back and kind of helped us out. When I started training with them, I was just like, wait a second, if they can make it, I think I could also.
Yeah.
So once again, spectacular year, man. It was unbelievable. What a storybook year or end of the career. You're right. Once again, not bragging. I still, to this day, this is now maybe 15 years later, I still have 9 school records. Yeah, wow. 9 school records, 2 in the weight room, so 11 if you want to count those. I'm very proud of those.
Yeah,
very proud.
What were
of
the
those
2 in the weight room?
So bench press record.
Okay.
For my position.
What was it?
390.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 390
with those long arms.
Yeah, 390. Oh man, I told you I used to get after it. There's a funny story how I broke it, but bench press and power clean, it was 331.
Wow.
Yep. I was, once again, when it came to working out and stuff like that, I loved working out. And everyone goes through the process. I was a skinny kid growing up, getting in the weight room a little bit. I'm like, wait a second. Got little shoulders. Okay. Once again, I really enjoyed that. Yeah. I had a really good friend, once again, growing up, Marcus Patterson, the guy who kind of said, hey, come play receiver. Man, we used to be in competition for everything. And in our senior year, we were both supposed to show up in the morning workout and for testing. I had to hand in a paper. So I was super late. And I was like, I got to finish this paper. So he went and he broke the bench press record. He broke it. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. He's like, super mad at me. Where were you? This and that. I was like, man, I had to hand this paper in. He's like, all right, man, I'm going to show up for you. So I went back. So if he broke it at 10, I showed up at noon. And because we were so competitive, I was like, man, I'm going to break this record. And then I broke his record that he owned for 2 hours. So he once again, it's just one of those things where I was just so competitive. I was like, and we were such good friends at the time, and because we were so close, I feel like I had to do it. So anyways, that's how I got that record. Yeah. But coming back to what we were talking about, I really felt that training with some of these guys who are now in the pros, I'm like, man, I could do this. And I see how the lifestyle that they have, showing up, what they drove. I was like, I could do this, man. This is what I want to be. I want to make it to the ultimate, the pinnacle of when I started, something I started 20 years ago. So once again, I actually got an agent. It was awesome. Kind of a highly touted agent. He had some marquee guys. Some of his clients, I guess the most popular ones would be the Rondé and Tiki Barber. They're twins. Those guys were their moment. Anyways, so I was like, man, I have a reputable agent. Flew me out to Arizona. I started training. I was like, this is about to become a reality. So I trained, once again, did what I always do, trained really, really hard. Was so prepared for the moment. Talking with my agent, he's like, man, for everything you've accomplished, from what you're testing, man, you might be a 3rd-round pick. I was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. So it's crazy. This is the 2008 NFL draft. Something in history that's never happened in history occurred that draft. There wasn't one receiver taken in the 1st round. Oh. Not one. First time in NFL history. And so what that does is it bumps everybody back.
Yes, right.
And then bump back and bump back. So the 3rd round came and left, and I was like, man, I thought I was going to be in the 3rd. The 4th came. No call. 5th, 6th, last round. No call. I was like, oh my goodness, everything that I've done is about to come to an end. My agent calls me, and I can't believe this is happening. I was like, I don't know what to tell you at this moment. Long story short, he calls me back and he said, look, you have a choice between 3 teams. Which one's it going to be? And, we said it's Kansas City, Dallas, and the Jets. Which one do you want? I was like, I'll be honest with you, which one's giving me the most? That's what exactly. Giving me the most bonus. Yeah. Anyways, he said the Kansas City Chiefs, and that's why I chose Kansas City. Okay. And they actually had a history at the time for having Canadians on the team. Okay. Their long snapper, J.P. Darsh, Montreal, another Montreal guy, he was on the team at the time. And I was like, there's already Canadians on the team. So I kind of chose Kansas City.
So maybe I misspoke. Do you feel like at the time there was a lot of Canadians in the U.S. more than there is now?
Oh, no. Okay. Now you hear about guys going down to the U.S. all the time.
All the time.
I feel like it's almost people get into the sport to try to go down to the U.S., where I got into playing football just because I just wanted to play. I never really thought of myself trying to go down to the U.S., but it became an opportunity for me.
Okay.
So I do believe now there's tons of more Canadians down in the U.S. than they are when back then. We're talking about, 20 some odd years ago.
For sure.
There's teams right now I could think about in the NCAA where there's maybe 4 or 5 Canadians on one team.
On one team, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Where the Vanier guys, we did send a lot of guys down to the U.S.
Remember that year, like 10 or 12?
Yeah, I think in 2 years we sent seven that year, and then 7 the year after. Yep.
Wow.
So we sent maybe 14 guys down from one team, but that was an anomaly.
Yeah, for sure.
That was an anomaly. So now you hear about it all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
But now you're in Kansas City as an undrafted free agent. Talk a little bit about the grind of being an undrafted free agent, right? Sometimes, you realize, yes, you're on the team, they're trying to make the team and whatnot, but understanding that there's guys that got drafted. I don't know if they drafted a receiver that year as well, right? Sometimes they draft a receiver too, and they're obviously trying to make him look good as well, and you're on the undrafted free agent trying to make the team. How was that experience for you?
So I'll be honest with you. For the first time in my career, when going there, I kind of, when I looked at some of the other guys there, not necessarily intimidated, but I was intimidated. I remember maybe my 3rd day there, sitting down at the lunch table, and here comes Tony Gonzalez, sits beside me and has a conversation. And I'm talking with Tony Gonzalez, who at the time was the guy. He was the tight end.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
On every commercials, he was everywhere.
Yeah. Great conversation. And it was one of those things where I'm like, this guy's, almost a Hall of Famer. And he's actually sitting down to talk with me. And I was so astonished by it. I was like, wow, this is great. And I think the mistake I made is that I thought it was too great. Here I am sitting with Tony Gonzalez. I'm sharing a huddle with, Brian Waters, another Hall of Famer, Larry Johnson, who was once again the guys there. And I kind of looked around like, oh, wow, this is so cool.
You guys got starstruck a little bit.
And that was a mistake I made because I've always been like, man, I'm coming for everything. I'm coming here, I'm taking, that's mine. And, just kind of looking around, and my roommate was a little bit like, man, did you see what car he pulled up in? And it was kind of a little bit of that, Dwayne Bowe, same story. I was just looking at these guys, like, look at these superstars. And I kind of lost track just a little bit. I was still grinding. I was still working really hard. I just kind of lost track of, hey, man, I'm here for a reason. You know what I mean? And once again, it's a grind because you're right. You know how it is, you're trying out for a team. In college, man, in any given practice, I would get 17 targets a practice, 20 targets a practice.
Then you might get like 2-3 reps a period. And sometimes there's periods you ain't getting no reps.
Exactly. Now I was getting maybe 2 targets a practice. Where sometimes I'd get, like you said, 5 targets a period in college. And, that was super frustrating. Like, really, you want something so bad, and you just feel like, man, I'm not getting the full opportunity I want. So it was a little bit rough. It was a grind. I had to make sure that I knew the playbook like the back of my hand. And you're right. Some of the guys that were, maybe making a little bit more than I was at the time, they were making mistakes.
Oh yeah. Doesn't matter.
And I was like, he's making mistakes.
Yeah.
And they're almost like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah. You breathed wrong, yo.
All over me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. 14-yard route instead of 15?
Yeah.
Man, what are you doing? And those guys were going in when they should have been going out. And I was like, oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, once again.
That's when I really learned that coaches, sometimes at that level, they're there to coach the drafted guys and the guys that are being paid. If you're an undrafted guy, if you pan out, that's cool. But that's not necessarily where they necessarily get judged on as a coach. They really want to make sure that the guys that they invested in do well, right? As long as they do well, it's up to you to figure it out. If you figure it out, kudos to you. If not, wow. We didn't draft you anyway, so.
Exactly. We didn't have that financial investment into you, so to speak. Because there was a lot of things that happened there that I was a little bit frustrated about. Larry Johnson was the guy. He was the man. He used to get the ball in practice and kind of like jog through the holes and stuff. And I'm like, I'll never forget. I turned to a coach and I was like, Coach, why is he jogging? This is not what I'm used to. He looked at me in the eyes and he said, look, man, he makes more money than me, you, and everybody else here. You tell him that he has to run. I was like, okay, I understood. So, there is a little bit of that. Obviously, you know what I mean, when people have huge financial ties to you, they want you to be successful. For sure. I was a little bit, I guess, like, you know, I was less of a risk for those guys. Unfortunately, I did get cut for Kansas City. It's kind of funny. I made it all the way through to final cut. It was kind of funny because things happen to you, and it turns in. At the time, it wasn't funny, but it's something that you look back and you laugh about. I got cut on my birthday.
No. I mean, this just kind of happened that way, right?
Yeah, you know, my birthday is August 28th.
28th, right?
So it's almost always the start of the season, right. You know, that's how it goes. But that was happened to be the last day of the cut, and I got cut on my birthday. So for my 25th birthday, happy birthday, you've been released. Yeah. So it was kind of funny, you know, one of those things where if I was ever given a second chance, I know 100% I could have made it. Because I think my mentality would have been a little bit more locked into, I got to go there and take somebody's job. Yeah, it's great that you're in the Hall of Fame and all the rest of that, but this is my time.
Yeah, it's that's something when obviously we work with young athletes is it's not necessarily a talent thing when you get to that level. It's a mentality thing. It's like a sink or swim, like you said. It's like by any means necessary, I'm making this team. You know, because some of these guys, you're competing with guys that come from like tough upbringing. That is their way out, and you trying to take in their mind, you trying to take something from them, right? And if you don't have that mindset, it's gonna be hard for you to do certain things at times to allow you to separate yourself, right? Yeah, you'll run the routes, you'll catch the ball, but like you're gonna have, for you to make that team, you gotta be playing at a high level all the time, right? It doesn't matter who you're going against. And then once you start making leaps, obviously, I remember back in Arizona, there was two fields, right? There's the 3s and the 4s on one side, and then 1 and the 2s.
Oh yeah.
Like you're not even. When you get there, you don't get to practice against the 1s and 2s. You got to make it. You on your way there, and then when you get to the 1s and the 2s, it's like, oh shoot, like there's so and so in front of me. Like you can't think that way, right? Because he ain't thinking that way. He's thinking the other way. Yeah, fresh meat, right? That's what they think, right?
Oh yeah.
You got to have that mindset too, and that's sometimes something that's a hard reality that a lot of times people need to they see it, and you can tell them. But once you're in there, people sometimes they forget that, okay, man, you actually here because you earned that right. They breathe talk just like you. They play college football just like you. He had 1,000 yards, I had 1,000 yards. He's just like me. But mentally, who's gonna separate himself, right?
Yep, and I agree. It's funny because the way I looked at it is just like how you said. I was kind of happy to be there. Where some of these guys were like, look, this young dude's trying to take food off my children's plate.
That's right.
Can't have it.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, we talked about sense of urgency. Some of those guys were practicing with a sense of desperation.
Desperation, yeah.
This is it for me, you know. And once again, if I had a second chance around to play or have that opportunity to go back, there was no way I wasn't making that team. It's almost like I needed my reality to be checked.
For sure.
Oh, okay, well, okay. I need to get after it a little bit more. I need to have that sense of desperation, you know. So once again, it was a great experience. I thought it was great having that opportunity.
But it still led you to have a great career in the CFL. You know, going to the Stamps, winning 2 Grey Cups. You know, that's amazing. Yeah, I just having a chance to. I actually haven't had a chance to win a Grey Cup. I've been really close to, but I've never had a chance to win in Grey Cups. And you were with the Stamps at a time where going to the Grey Cup was like It's expected. Like we're going there, right? That's the culture that you had. Talk to me a little bit about the culture and your time at the Stamps.
It was absolutely great. At the time, my freshman year, or my rookie season, was the first year also for John Hufnagel. And John Hufnagel, what a great motivator he was. The relationships that I kind of created with that coaching staff, they never lied to you. If you had a great game, hey man, you had a great game. If you had a bad game, hey man, you had a bad game. And it's one of those things where you really appreciate their honesty.
You knew where you stood.
Exactly. You never had to ask because they were going to tell you. And that was just the way he approached the game. Never lied to anybody, good or bad. And
actually, I was just talking to Coach Kilman about this, and he said, I asked him, what creates a championship culture? He said, transparency. Having trust. When people can trust you, trust your word. Whatever you say, you stand by those words. That's what can help create a championship culture. And you're saying that you always knew where you stood when you were in that building.
Yep. And once again, props to Coach Killam. He's actually was on that coaching staff.
Definitely.
So he's witnessed and lived it. And him being a special teams coach, I love Coach Killam. He's an awesome person. I wish him all the success. But once again, like I said, the relationships that was fostered because of this honesty, the way they were able to connect with everybody from all walks of life, I think that's what allowed the characters that were on the team at the time to really flourish. They were, Coach Hufnagel was like, you go be you. But I'm going to tell you when you're doing great, but I'm also going to tell you when enough is enough. And I think when you give, the characters at the team at that time, hey, look, go be you, do what you need to do, what you think you need to be successful. Man, it was what a recipe that was. I don't think we ever went into a game thinking that, you know what, we're not winning this game. The way he inspired us was, man, we felt that there's nobody that could beat us. As a matter of fact, going away to Akron, going to Kansas City, finding my way back at the Calgary Stampeders. The first game I ever played in Montreal after leaving was in 2008 for the Grey Cup.
No way.
Yeah, first time in 6 years, left and came back, was for the Grey Cup. And it's one of my favorite moments as an athlete is the speech before the game that John Hufnagel said to us. It didn't matter who was in front of us, we were going to win. It was incredible.
It's interesting because at the time I got to the Stamps, he was still in the organization, but obviously he'd been there. It was more like from a consulting side, a little bit more. He kind of took the back seat a little bit, so I never really got to see. I never got to see that side of him. But one thing I knew is he wasn't at practice all the time, but the day he was on the field at practice, everybody knew. You know what I mean? Like there's just like that. The expectation, it wasn't unspoken. You knew that things had to operate a certain way because that's just what he brought to the table, right? And I just never had a chance to hear him speak about football as much.
Which was awesome because you're right. As you said, there was an expectation. And he had an expectation for everybody. Once again, you go be you, but this is my level of expectation. And no matter what I need to do to get it out of you, I'm prepared to do it. And through the honesty, just, hey, look, this is what it is. I think that's what made him such a presence on the football field. He was a great strategist, really, really intelligent, one of the great football minds. But once again, every time he would leave a team meeting or even speaking with you, he'd always be like, hey, man, win the game. And it's one of those things where regardless of what you were doing, how you were feeling, it always made you feel like, hey, man, I got to win. I mean, because he imprinted that onto you. So win the game. He'd be like, hey, man, coach, the defense is playing this. Okay, great, win the game. Didn't matter what they were doing, win the game. So he was, once again, great motivator. The speech pre-Grey Cup was kind of based off of some things that were happening during the week. You know, they weren't necessarily doing, the host team wasn't necessarily doing everything they were supposed to do to make our experience the way it should have been. And, you know, pregame, he kind of spoke to that. Hey, man, this is what's happening. We're in their house. 60,000 people are screaming for them. They beat us during the season. Man, we have them right where we want them. And what didn't matter who was playing on that field. We were winning that game. So just the way he motivated us, leaving that locker room, man, we were going to win for sure. So
that's cool. What I want to touch on that when you say he always said win the game. Now that you're a bit more removed from that moment, obviously when you're playing, you say win the game, okay, win the game. But do you feel like there was a deeper meaning to that sentence, to win the game, knowing him?
Yeah. I think what he really meant was, look, it doesn't matter what you're up against. It doesn't matter what you're facing. It doesn't even matter how you feel. He always talked about being mentally, physically, and emotionally ready to win a game. Not to play a game, but to win a game. I feel like no matter what the situation is, okay, that doesn't matter. What matters is doing what you have to do to win. So win the game. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's in front of you, win the game. And once again, I feel like because he had that such a high expectation, it was a mentality that he imprinted on everybody.
I like that you said that because wins and losses is not always controlled by you, right? But there's a difference between playing a game and winning a game. You know what I mean? Like going with a mindset of winning a game and just playing a game. It's two different mindsets, not the same thing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's that attitude. There's a way of preparation that comes with winning games and versus playing games, right? That's what when you said that, I'm wondering. Maybe I'll ask him one day what he meant by that.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Once again, now that I've kind of transitioned into the coaching side of the table, where, you know, we always talk about, hey, you win the game, or you need to do whatever is necessary to win. It's when you're coaching it now, when you're on the other side, some of the stuff that, you know, as a player, you don't necessarily realize what the coach is really trying to say to you. Like I said, one of the things that I really took from Coach Huff is you have to be physically ready. Everybody trains to be physically ready, mentally ready. They go over their plays, they do all that stuff, but emotionally ready is something that sometimes we don't necessarily always talk about. That's the mentality of no matter what is up against me.
What do you mean by emotionally ready?
Like, everybody's going through something in life. Everybody is at any given time.
Yep.
But once you cross over onto that white line, this is what counts now. You know what I mean? For that, whatever practice period for that game, that is what's going on. You kind of have to be where your feet are. You know what I mean? Like, you can't be on the field thinking about what's going on off the field.
And that's, I think that's something that you practice. You know, like that's the way you go about everything in life. You know, there's days, and I'm sure that same thing with you. Oh, you're a father now. There's days you just don't feel like waking up, doing X, Y, and Z. As a father, you just don't have a choice, right? And you become better at that, right? As you go, where it just becomes what you do. And when you go back to sports, there's days you just, there's probably you've played for a long time. There's definitely games you woke up sick.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't, that's going, as much as you love the game, going and play the game is the last thing you probably want to do right now based on how you feel. But you still, the guy in front of you doesn't care about that. You have to be emotionally ready to go and do it. If not, especially in football, you might get hurt, or you might get somebody else hurt if you're not going out there and play the game the right way. And you have to be, it's not just mentally sharp ready, you have to be emotionally ready to sustain the pain and all the things you have to go through. Doesn't matter what day it is, that's just the sport, right? And now as a coach, those are things now you're trying to instill, but when you tell that to the players, sometimes they don't fully understand right now. Right? Sometimes it takes for them, when they're done, to really understand what the coaches meant by that. It's not that we don't care about you. we actually trying to help you learn that that's something that has to be done regardless.
I think you hit it on the nose right there. To be emotionally ready is, as you already know, football, part of the football is, it's not the only part of the game, but it's in literally invoking your will onto another human being.
That's right.
I'm going to dominate you this play. And you have to be emotionally ready, not only to do that, but he's thinking the same thing on you. So you have to be emotionally strong enough to take some of that.
That's right.
And that's where it really gets in. That's, the game within the game. There's a lot of that stuff. That's where that comes from. But you're 100% right. Not only trying to coach it, it's a little bit more difficult, so to speak.
That's true. There's also humbling moments too when you coach that, because as when we played, we weren't perfect, right? There's times like you said, when you get to the pro level, you get starstruck here, and like this is just you're a human being, right? And sometimes you're saying it, but at times you weren't that all the time. But at the same time, I think it's important to not just coach it, but explain it to guys to understand. I think sometimes guys right now don't fully understand what it takes to be successful in football beyond, you just had 1,100 yards in college, but now you're at pro level, everybody got 111.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're not special.
Yeah.
Right? You're just like everybody else. I'm trying to prepare you for that. You know what I mean? That moment. And it might not be professional sports. It might be in an office one day where like you just arrive, you have to separate yourself. You're starting a business, you got to separate yourself. You have to practice being emotionally ready. So when that moment comes, that you know how to fight that imposter syndrome that's creeping in here and there, right?
Yeah.
You know how to do it because that's what you do. You've done your entire career. You have to learn that.
It's so cool. Football has done so much for me in my life. I'm really, really fortunate and happy I'm in a situation where I could begin to give it back. Some of the stuff that football has taught me, I could give it back. And the way I coach, the way I approach the game, the way I wake up every morning, it's more than just football. It's more than just X's and O's. It's more than just, hey man, you need to run this route at this depth. It's more than that. I feel that football is a great teacher because everything that football asks you to do, be accountable, be mentally tough, physically tough, emotionally tough, is everything that your spouse is going to ask of you, is everything that your boss is going to ask for you, whatever job it is, and it's everything that your kids are going to ask from you. So once again, the way I treat football is more than just X's and O's, more than just football. And I take that mentality and I try to instill that, hey, look, like you said, I'm angry at this moment, but if you could survive this stress that I'm putting on you, you'll be fine when you need it the most. You'll be fine when you need it on 2nd and 7 in the Hardy. Or you'll be fine where you just made a mistake at your job and now your boss is coming down on you. I mean, you'll be fine. You'll be able to rally back, but it has nothing to do with the mistake you made.
That's right.
It has everything to have done what the lessons that came along with you when you were learning at whatever level you're at, whatever the coach was trying to instill in you.
For sure.
I think all that stuff is super important. It's not just X's and O's.
For sure. And now seeing you as a coach, to kind of go back to your father, when you said that he's like a 21-year-old that never aged. When you said that, I was like, that's you. You know what I mean? Like you have that passion, that love. You're excited. Doesn't matter if it's 6 a.m. workouts, 6 p.m. Doesn't matter the time it is. You just have that joy and passion of giving back. And where does that come from? What makes you want to give back so much?
Well, I'm a dad also, and as you already know, man, there's no such thing as small victories. And when you see something that you may have taught, or you see something that you're really trying to get through to somebody, and it works, wow! It's like it makes you feel so the energy that you get from it. It's an awesome feeling, and man, I really enjoy. I'm one of those people that, man, I wake up, I actually enjoy my job. I enjoy the challenges, that it's never the same thing every day. It's always something different. I enjoy that. Not necessarily in competition with somebody, but it's a new challenge every single day. I actually really enjoy that, and I have fun with it. Also, just growing up, Man, there's some guys that, you know, in my lifetime, I have a lot of friends that never had the opportunity to get to this age or never had the opportunity to experience some of the stuff that that I've experienced. So I'm really grateful that I have a chance every single day to have these experiences and have these opportunities. So man, I try to have as much fun as I could every single day. My dad was the same way. Man, he was like, look, if you're not having fun or if you're not enjoying it, why are you doing it?
That's right.
I'm in a point in my life where I'm really having fun. I'm really having enjoyed doing it. So man, I'm gonna try enjoy it as much as I could. To be honest with you, not all days are. It's not always fun, so to speak. But overall, you know, making connections with people and you know having the opportunity to still be in this environment, man, I'm thankful for it and grateful for it every single day.
For sure. And that's something that being around you, we can feel, and that's contagious, right? Having the ability to, it's not everybody in life that can say that they truly, fully love what they do. And I feel like when you love what you do and you wake up in the morning and you have that passion, you drive into to work. Like sometimes we go into workouts, I'm driving and I'm just like, I'm up to my music, getting ready, like I'm about to work out. I just the love and passion. And I think there's great coaches out there, but there is not a ton of people that can say that they really love what they do. And that inspires kids, not necessarily to become a coach, but to see that passion. Passion can come from anything, right?
It's true.
You could be the equipment manager, passionate about what you do, and that inspires people, right? And I see you inspire people every day because they know that Jabs is a vibe in his own. You know, he's got his vibe on his own, and I love to see that. And that just tells me you're doing the right thing.
So you know what's funny? I don't think anybody really starts playing sports to become a coach. I don't think that, hey, you know what? I'm gonna start playing this sport so I can become a coach after. I think that whatever sport you get into, you get a deep connection with it. And I feel that that's kind of what, you know, I kind of fell into this situation as a coach, and I enjoy it every single moment. But I do think that the most successful people in this world, in this lifetime, are the ones who are constant learners. The ones who they could see something and they don't they don't look at it as a problem. They try to find the solution in it. They're always learning. I think that the environment that I'm in currently is that I'm always learning from not just, you know, other coaches and players and situations, but every opportunity is something that you could learn. I learn from players all the time. I learn from other coaches all the time. Like you said, it's an aura. You know, I'm very, very fortunate where I could be around a group of people such as yourself. You don't even know you're doing it, but I'm learning from you every day. Just seeing the way you operate and seeing the expectations that you set on some of the athletes that are under your tutelage. Okay, this is how I'm learning every single day. And I think that's part of the reason why I really enjoy what I'm doing right now, regardless of what. I'm smart enough to know that I'm not ever going to be the smartest person in the room. And if I am, I'm in the wrong place. So the fact that I'm in a situation where I'm constantly learning, that's another part of the reason why I really, really enjoy what I'm doing.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Oh, God bless you, man. This is awesome, man. I'm excited that we can continue to do what we do this year and trying to lead these men to the best of our abilities and keep that energy up. You know, I'm excited. One thing that I would like to ask a question to you, you know, you talked about your support system. You know, as you know, not necessarily who I am, but as a brand, family is a big thing here, you know, and we always want to make people feel at home, and that's what we thrive to do. What does family means to you?
You know, going back to my dad and to my mom, there's only one thing in this life that's constant. I mean, everyone's gonna say taxes. They want to make that joke and stuff like that. Sure. But it's the one thing that you can't change in life is family. If you know, your brother's your brother. Even if you don't speak to them ever again, they're still your brother. That is your family. It doesn't change. It can't. And I feel that because of that mentality, you know what I mean? Like, if I consider you family, no matter what happens, you're family. And that's constant. That's something constant that will never change. I think that when you begin to kind of incorporate that kind of vibe, we're like, look, this doesn't matter. Yeah, we lost this game. Yeah, you fumbled the ball. Yeah, you dropped the ball. It doesn't matter, man. You're family to me. That's never going to change. I feel that that environment is how you really can you make connections with some of the players that you have, or anybody at that moment. And that's how you really get the most out of them. You know, like, look, this is family, man. It's never going to change. The way I feel about you, just because you made an error, yeah, I'm angry, but it doesn't change the way I feel about you. I still care about you. You're my family. I mean, I feel like that's super, super important. And that's something that, you know, if you are able to create that environment, then you'll get the most out of everybody.
That's when the way you verbalized it, there's an element of forgiveness that I heard from what you said, you know, that we always quick to be like, yo, screw this, but once it's family, obviously there's levels, but we can talk things through. You know what I mean? Like I love you so much that we can find a way around this situation to make sure that we can find common ground. Right? You can't just walk away from family. It's still family, right?
That's exactly it. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to feel frustrated. But once again, if you have that deep-rooted feeling of, you know what, this is my guy, this is family, I feel that you could overcome something. That's not the worst thing that can happen. You know, you could overcome certain situations. And I feel that if you, once again, take that mentality of family, man, you know, and we're together, I feel like you're good. Nothing else. You know what I mean? Yeah, we have to go through some stuff, but we're doing it together, though.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm trying to think of the quote where if you want to go fast, go by yourself. But if you want to go far, I mean, go together. And I feel that as long as you are together with your family and that foundation is set, you go as far as you need to.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That's a beautiful statement there. I would like to give you an opportunity to ask the next guest a question, something that's been in your heart that maybe you've been asking yourself lately for the next guest.
Putting me on the spot with this one, but I always like to talk to people about what's your motivation? What gets you out of bed in the morning? How, when you like we talked about before, when things are really tough and you really don't want to do it, what gets you going? What makes you, you know what, this needs to get done? What's your, you know, we talked about having a sense of urgency or a sense of desperation. What's yours? What really gets you going? You know, that I always like to hear that about people. Like, man, what's the energy behind you? You know, how do you do it? How do you, you know, wake up and go? I think that, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, we don't talk about it. Oh, he just gets up and does it. He just does it. But why or how? You know, what's that? That would be my question for if I had to ask somebody.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll definitely ask the next guest, and I hope that you can watch the show so you can hear it as well.
Oh man, you know I'm tuning in.
Yes.
You know I'm definitely tuning
that. Jabs, thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. I know that I did dig a little bit into your past and kind of get an understanding. There's a lot of things that I had an opportunity to learn about you today that I know that you don't talk a lot to people, and I hope that I know that a lot of young guys that you've empowered that will watch and will be very happy to hear about your story, but we'll be able to connect with you a little bit more. And
well, dude, thank you for having me, man. I greatly appreciate it. You don't understand that, you know, by doing small stuff like this, allowing, you know, opening up the doors so people could peer into other people's lives and, like you said, hear their story. It's greatly appreciated. You know what I mean? You may not know what you're doing, but you're actually affecting and touching a lot of people, you know, in their lives just by what you're doing here. So thank you for having me, and we appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I'll let you go back to your family, to your kids. I know they're wondering what daddy is right now. I know there's Sunday is the time that you get to spend with them, but I appreciate that, and much love to you, and thank you very much for tuning in to the 9th episode of the Bouk. We had Jabs here sharing his real story, a very authentic guy, and we really appreciate you, and stay tuned for the next episode.